Come blast off in my time machine. Third eye feeling like an Visine. Blast off, blast off, blast off, blast off. Come blast off in my time machine. Third eye feeling like an Visine. Blast off, blast off, blast off, blast off.
Follow me with your darkest eyes. Follow me with your shape-shifting smiles, and I see you. Maybe they'll believe you. Illuminati, a cold dawn trial. Silver discs and hidden files, and we see you. We've got to believe you. Blast off, blast off, blast off, blast off.
Blast off, Wolfpack, on another epic episode of the Hyper Anomalous Esoteric Research Organization podcast, aka Hero Paranormal. And we're going to get into the Golden Arches, Satanic Pacts, the Egyptian Christ, and a bunch of other things that are, well, pretty fringe. But before we do, if you haven't been over to HeroParanormal.com, slide on over there, smash the green subscribe button. Please, please, please subscribe. You're missing out if you don't. Also, if you want to support the podcast by purchasing Spice Natural Bronze, a product my wife invented. It moisturizes your skin. It has all amazing ingredients, organic ingredients, and it's a moisturizer, it's a bronzer, it keeps your skin looking amazing, especially in these high desert climates like the Uinta Basin of Utah, Las Vegas, Nevada, and everything in between. Slide on over to happinessmedical.com and pick yourself up a tube of Spice Natural Bronze. That helps buy things. Helps me buy things to keep the podcast going. Okay, enough said. Let's get to it. Something a little strange. Trump's high-ranking FEMA official who is claiming that he spontaneously teleported approximately 50 miles to a Waffle House in Rome, Georgia. And this is not the first time. That's correct. This is pretty fascinating. If you guys have heard about this, it's absolutely amazing. I'm going to show you an image if I can of this actual guy. And let me see. That image isn't a very good one. Let me tell you what this is about. Well, you know what? I'm going to do it. This is the guy right here. Okay. And FEMA is getting weird about this. Let me explain. Greg Phillips is his name. He was appointed in December to lead FEMA's Office of Response and Recovery under Donald Trump. He's talked on podcast platforms about supposedly teleporting while driving and ending up at different locations, specifically a Waffle House in Rome, Georgia. In a particular podcast episode, Phillips claimed that while he was driving, his car was lifted up, off the roadway and transported about 40 miles away, landing in a ditch near a church. On this same podcast, he also said that on another occasion, he was teleported about 50 miles to a Waffle House restaurant in Rome, Georgia, to get food from the Waffle House. He described the teleportation as something you feel happening but you can't control. A lot of people have talked about this, and this seems to be a thing. There was a general that claimed this happened back in the day. Now, this particular individual, this high-ranking official at FEMA, recounted that his sons told him his sudden appearance at the Waffle House 50 miles away was not possible because he had just left them, but he insisted that it really happened. FEMA, responding to questions about these claims, dismissed the whole topic. They said this doesn't even deserve a response. So what do you think? Is dematerialization, teleportation, beaming from one place to another possible? Allegedly, Star Trek was always seeded with information that was somewhat real. And we know this, especially when you start studying the Galactic Federation and what people who claim this exists believe is happening. One of those things is the Prime Directive. In other words, if you go to places, you don't mess with the population there, much like a cargo cult mentality. You don't mess with a place or its people there because your Prime Directive is to not throw them off, right? Let me show you a little image here. Okay, so what you see here are pictures depicting a cargo cult. That word comes from a religious or social movement, primarily in Melanesia during the 19th and 20th centuries, where indigenous groups performed rituals to attract manufactured cargo or goods they believed were being sent by ancestors or the gods, but were intercepted by Westerners. They mimicked all sorts of behaviors, even military behaviors, such as building fake landing strips, radio towers, and marching, believing that these actions would induce the return of goods, often coinciding with prophecies of a new era. Islanders observed but did not understand the logistics behind cargo delivery. They created rituals mimicking their observations and hoping that things would just get dropped off to them. It's pretty fascinating stuff, the cargo cult. Now, this is a reality, or at least was. Many allege this is still transpiring in places that we don't know or haven't witnessed this transpiring. In other words, for example, there is a number, I'm getting texts. Okay, I'll get to that question. There are a number of, when it comes to aliens and UFOs, we see the same sort of behavior. People gather in a CE5 circle, performing a ritual, hoping for contact. It's very similar to the cargo cult. And at least it has some of the same dimensions, let's just say. Now, this is something that's been used in ufology a lot, the idea of a cargo cult mentality. In fact, the General Neil McCaslin, when speaking with Tom DeLonge, used this same phrase, according to some of the emails, that we are sort of the cargo cult when it comes to this non-human intelligence. Let me explain. In Melanesia, these tribal members would see planes, for example, landing on a runway, dropping off goods, and taking off. They made runways, hoping the same would happen for them. They made planes, hoping the same would happen for them. And we're not that dissimilar. We're doing everything we can in our power, in some cases, to bring about contact, right? Some sort of a cargo cult mentality. Okay, so let's delve into some of the deeper stuff. When it comes to this Gene Roddenberry Star Trek connection, and like this high-ranking official with FEMA claiming that he literally got beamed to a location, transported to a location, the dematerialization and rematerialization that was shown in Star Trek, this beam me up Scotty technology, people have analyzed this, and many allege that this could be, in fact, what's taking place, but there's a dark element to it. If you are dematerialized atom by atom and just taken apart and then put back together somewhere else, the reality is that version of you that was dematerialized and taken apart is dead, gone forever. And that version of you that is put back together piece by piece, atom by atom, is just a clone somewhere else. So kind of a dark reality to the possibility of being beamed somewhere. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of all this. All right. Picture Ray Kroc, the creator of McDonald's, on Phil Donahue, right? And this is the rumor. There were church newsletters screaming that McDonald's founder sold his soul. I said it. Now, when it comes to the golden arches, satanic pacts, and this Egyptian mystery school Jesus that may be battling all of this, we got to start at the beginning. Okay? Let's get into it. This is a mind-bending conspiracy. Picture Phil Donahue talking to Ray Kroc. Church newsletters said that the founder sold his soul. We're talking about Satanism here. And this is a rumor that he donated 35% of profits to the Church of Satan, and that every Big Mac, billions and billions served, financially supports Satan. Is it possible that fast food isn't just fast food, but it is a satanic altar upon which all sorts of rituals take place? These allegations or rumors about Ray Kroc donating 35% of the proceeds to the satanic church, billions and billions of burgers served, and, this mass distraction that was like wildfire spread through evangelical grapevines throughout the 70s, it really makes you wonder, the late 70s especially. So McDonald's, allegedly, according to many of these evangelical grapevines who had satanic panic back in the late 70s, McDonald's was the corporate altar. Billions and billions served, burgers, that is, and this allegedly was mass distraction and spiritual sedation, calling it a satanic location. The Golden Arches. Now, there is a thesis here, and I want to tease you with it. The same hidden network that spawned the McDonald's Satan rumor also buried the 13-year Egyptian mystery. This is the 13-year Egyptian mystery school theory. This is a theory that there was a Egyptian mystery school which took 13 years to complete, and that many enlightened masters would go there and study, and that Jesus was one of them. There's actually a very good possibility. There are some missing timelines when it comes to Yeshua, Jesus, the Nazarene, whatever you'd like to call him. Okay, and while I've been talking to you, I got some amazing information we're going to get into. It has to do with the missing general. But this is an idea. This all interrelates. Let me tell you why. This thesis I'm teasing you with, that the same hidden network that spawned the McDonald's Satan rumor also buried the 13-year Egyptian mystery school initiation of Jesus, is because this knowledge that the Messiah, Jesus, the Nazarene, Yeshua, brought back proves, beyond a shadow of a doubt, among many other things, that God is real and that 0-point energy is real. Religions are therefore incomplete. Our society is therefore incomplete. And full alien disclosure would trigger the greatest controlled demolition in history of these incomplete religions, incomplete societies, incomplete systems. Now, this is not because of little green men, but because it would free humanity from both dogma and the energy cartel, okay? A cabal of energy and power brokers in the financial systems. Central banks would grind to a halt. So, this McDonald's satanic ritual, historical deep dive into Jesus, the evangelicals that are now pushing a number of other things, right? Am I right when it comes to the war? These are all key elements of what's transpiring here. Okay, so if the knowledge Jesus brought back proves God, proves 0 point energy, and would be detrimental to society as we know it, this would, in fact, be likened to Armageddon. In a broader symbolic analysis, when we look at the historical deep dive into the golden arches as an inverted sigil, and let me get, this is going to sound crazy until we get into it. Ronald McDonald is a joker. He's a clown. And if it is inverted, remember that jesters, clowns, and jokers, tricksters, are inverted priests. This is why the Catholic Mass is inverted by Satanists. If you look at the band Ghost, you know, there's nothing creative about anything they've done. They just invert everything that they've already seen a religion do, and they think that this is super edgy. Well, this is exactly what Satanists have always done. They can't come up with a single creative idea themselves because they mimic. They are tricksters. They cannot create like El, the creator God. They are not the one true God. They are various clown imposters, jesters, jokers, tricksters. This is why the trickster is so important when it comes to the paranormal. So, in a broader symbolic analysis, the golden arches as an inverted sigil show Ronald McDonald as a modern clown priest of chaos magic. Literally, the M is a black magic glyph pulled from grimoires, and there are many fringe theories that will back up what I'm saying. The reality is, inverted sigils are typically used by Satanists. If you want to look at any inverted sigil, you'll see that it is adopted by Satanists. Cross, do they come up with their own cross? No, they just turn the cross upside down. There's the satanic cross. The same is true with everything. The black mass, everything is inverted. So the M as a black magic glyph pulled from grimoires makes perfect sense. And McDonald's as the ultimate weapon of the hidden hand has a lot of validity in my opinion. It's very addictive. I love their fries. I mean, it's got salt, sugar, everything you want. They're delicious. They're fried to perfection. I love their burgers. I love McDonald's. And I'm going to tell you a little story. I used to only eat out of the McDonald's drive-thru. This was when I was in my early 20s. And that's just where I ate. I was too busy. I was making so much money. I mean, I thought I was a big deal. I was young. I was dumb. I was clever. And the reality is, I didn't have time to sit down and eat. I would eat through the drive-thru at McDonald's. And at the age of 24, I had my first heart attack. Now, my only heart attack that I know of, but I was 24 years old and I had a heart attack. I had my grandfather take me to the hospital. And they literally asked me, what do you eat? And I told them, I just eat fast food every day, all day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they said, you've got to stop. This is killing you. Literally, you shouldn't be having heart attacks at the age of 24. So I believe that McDonald's can be the ultimate weapon of the hidden hand. It's addictive, low vibrational food that keeps the masses in a dopamine fog, which is exactly how I felt at the age of 24. Immediate gratification is all I was after. I was too busy for anything, too busy to pray, too busy to eat, too busy to do anything except for get immediate gratification. And when it comes to pleasure, what's more pleasurable than a huge soft drink, a greasy cheeseburger, throw some bacon on that biscuit, and it's just pleasure food. It's not even feel good food. It's just pleasure food. Greasy, salty, sugary, sweet deliciousness. So I believe that this is part of the deeper matrix, and it ties directly to Satanists or those who are labeled as such. Because most Satanists are fakes. They mimic. And they are not who run the show. Not the horned devil worshippers in the basement, anyway. The ones who run the show are the elite occultists who understand ancient power, much like the 13-year mystery school, and who use consumerism to suppress others and their power struggles. So who are the Satanists? Let's look at this broader picture in this story. Not modern LaVeyan atheists, because those are not Satanists. In fact, people like Michael Aquino created other ritualistic belief systems and theologies like the Temple of Set, organized religions, etc., because they realized that the modern LaVeyan atheists were not Satanists at all. I'm talking about the real deal Satanists, the historical adversarial knowledge keepers, the left-hand path inheritors of Egyptian and pre-Christian wisdom who preferred that form of study and who preserved what the church tried to erase. I'm talking about the church. Yes, the Christian Catholic Church. And when you link all of these grimoires and the inversion and the M, these black sigils, the golden arches, when you link this to the McDonald's rumor of the Satanic Panic, the 1977 panic was a psyop to make Satan the scapegoat, while the real controllers, in my opinion, energy, oil, and industrial complex stayed hidden. This is no different than the Pharisees at the time of Jesus. These were the real controllers. They were in charge of the energy, the oil, and the religious industrial complex at the time and currently. So this is very similar. Now, when you look at Satan, the adversary, the shaitan, Lucifer, the light bringer, the force that says question the official story, the same current that would welcome an alien disclosure because it aligns with their forbidden knowledge ethos comes to mind. Maybe this is why the Collins elite don't want anything to do with alien disclosure. They believe anything alien is demonic. And, as many have pointed out to me, maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. So what if your Happy Meal funded the cover-up of Jesus's real power source? Because that's basically what we're talking about. And this is going to get into the missing general. Trust me, it's going to blow your mind, the information I have about Neil McCaslin. All right, so Ray Kroc, slinging Baphomet burgers, financially supporting the devil, mass destruction, spiritual sedation, being performed for decades. Is it all possible? Maybe. Maybe it is. And who are the Satanists that would gain from this? It would be the materialists, the adversarial left-hand path inheritors. And Satan, always the adversary. Someone who arguably this 13-year Egyptian enigma, I would say, is similar to Well, Jedi and Sith, where they both utilized the Force, and I believe they both would have gone to this 13-year Egyptian mystery school, this left-hand path initiation, if they wanted to go down the left-hand path. The other path, obviously, would be a different path. But the biblical black hole, ages 12 through 30, roughly 18 years of esoteric tradition, sometimes compress the narrative. And this would be equal to the 13 years of intensive temple work needed to become an enlightened master, an ascended master. Now, if you believe the way I do, that Jesus was in fact God incarnate, the Son of God, then you would learn, especially when you look at this 13-year Egyptian school, mystery school enigma, that it did not take him the full 13 years. And this has been asked by many, many researchers, many investigators, with the use of ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, you name it, different AI search engines, and they all come up with the same answer, which is it wouldn't have taken 13 years for Jesus to accomplish what he needed to at this mystery school. So evidence from esoteric sources show us that Jesus initiated inside the Great Pyramid, allegedly studying papyri under Vestals, practicing sacred magic in the royal nuptials chamber, and learning the great mysteries and manipulation of subtle energies. Something that was probably really easy. I would say if it took the average person or the highly adept esoteric 13 years, it may have taken Jesus 1 year, maybe a little more, but maybe 1 year, if that. So the core revelation, can't talk today, the core revelation here is that he didn't just pray, he was engineered into the ultimate enlightened being through Egyptian high technology and consciousness. And when you realize who he was to begin with, this was quite easy to do. He was the perfect clay, right? If you could even call him that. This consciousness technology, this Egyptian high technology that harnessed zero-point energy, ancient pyramid power plant theories like the Giza power plant book and others maintain that there may have been other technologies on site. But if we are to believe any of this narrative, which is very fascinating at this point, a lot of people are talking about it online, if he was, as a core revelation, enlightened beyond compare, which I believe he was, Jesus returns not as a humble carpenter's son, but as a walking zero-point energy reactor, capable of multiplying loaves, healing with the touch, walking on water. He mastered the same scalar etheric science that non-human intelligences have used for millennia. Plus, at his very core, he was God. He was the Son of God. He was the Messiah. And the Satanist tie-in here is that these mystery schools were the original adversarial knowledge of the time. The dogmatic churches or theologies later demonized many who followed these paths as satanic. However, I would argue that the Pharisees were more satanic, those who could not let go of power, much like the cabal we are talking about today. Potentially, and I told you it would tie in, the type of cabal who would not want disclosure of any sort to get out and would be highly involved in abducting people who had the information or knowledge needed for disclosure. People like Neil McCaslin. People like Monica Reza, the woman who worked for Neil McCaslin, who developed a very exotic alloy used in aerospace. And many other scientists who have gone missing. In fact, there are those who believe that there's something up. A number of scientists, researchers, generals, metallurgists, I'm so bad at that word, metallurgist? Anyway, many have gone missing. And when it comes to 0 point energy and the real ancient secrets that connect this past story going into the Egyptian mystery schools, the Satanists that might be in charge of things like allegedly McDonald's or this cabal of power, initiations directly into 0 point energy make you realize quickly that resonant machines tap into this. Okay? It's not that hard, allegedly. Pyramids are very likely resonant machines, tapping into vacuum energy. Now, if Jesus taught this in parables and the church got this out, this has a lot of technical meaning. This would mean that our Bibles are literally technical manuals on how to not be suppressed, both spiritually and energetically. Modern suppression, the same cartels that own the McDonald's, allegedly own these other energy corporations and sponsor consumer distractions like fast food, have buried free energy tech since Tesla's time. You know, they want you to have an energy bill. They want you to go to the pump and pump your gas. They want you to do all these things. I'm not anti-oil, but you do sadly have to put them in the same area as these other energy cartels. But what's so catastrophic is disclosure of non-human intelligence inevitably includes their propulsion and power systems. And we would get back to these NHI craft. It always comes back to UAP. All 0 point energy based craft show us that propulsion is not only achieved, but possible without using the standard methods of energy consumption we're used to. Overnight, if there was true disclosure, it would be akin to having a Messiah. And what I mean is, I believe that both will happen at the same time. Overnight, the trillion dollar energy monopolies would collapse. No more wars for oil, no more scarcity. The McDonald's model of endless consumption becomes obsolete when energy and therefore food production is free, and you wouldn't have to eat trash. You would have good things to eat. So alien disclosure and Jesus, imagine if they are one and the same. And what I mean is alien meaning not of this world, right? If he is truly God incarnate, truly the Son of the Father, the Son of the all-powerful supreme God, then we're talking about something not from here, something not from Earth, something alien. Now, don't get me in the blasphemy area. I'm just saying, if he is in fact God incarnate, then he is not from here. And the aftershock of that would be a amazing Armageddon, catastrophic real nightmare scenario for the controllers. For back when Jesus walked the earth, it would be the Pharisees and the Romans. Nowadays, it would be the multinational corporations, the energy cabal, etc. Not to mention the militaries of the world. So not little green men landing on the White House lawn, but the public realizing the catastrophe that many of the religions have been built on half-truths. If Jesus was a trained master who is in fact God, who knew all about everything all along, that 0 point energy is real, ancient mystery schools and some of their information could be valid, and that those who are aware of this have weaponized this technology towards us, well, we would realize that we were all slaves of the economy. We're all economic slaves. No different than the people of God who were freed from Egypt, right? See the correlation here? You remember when Moses went to the Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go. Let the slaves go." We shouldn't be here building these things for you for free. It's slavery. It's not right, and God doesn't like it. The same thing would happen today. And the alleged McDonald's / satanic elite angle would no longer have any power over us. We wouldn't worry about gas prices. We wouldn't worry about food prices. We wouldn't worry about going to work 9 to 5. We would not worry about this because we would realize that we are, in fact, the slaves of the economic system. And those pulling the strings are, guess who? The same people as were back then. The same people that were pulling the strings back then. The same people that wanted Jesus gone are the same ones pulling the strings today. And this is catastrophic because the same forces that floated the 1977 rumor, the allegations to scare Christians into boycotting burgers, Satan burgers, Baphomet burgers, are the ones who are terrified of disclosure. Do you see that interesting dilemma? Because it exposes the control grid, and you don't want the control grid exposed. Billions have realized that the Bible has been edited to hide the Egyptian tech mysteries. Vatican secret archives have this. The observatory suddenly makes sense that the Vatican has. And some of their most powerful telescopes, one of them named Lucifer. Okay, so we have a call to action here before I get into the missing general, Neil McCaslin. We have this crazy 1970s, late 70s rumor, these allegations that McDonald's is the breadcrumb leading to the Satanist cabal. Well, I understand. Because today, multinational corporations, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, they seem to be pulling all the strings. But if the Egyptian 13-year mystery school is any sort of a blueprint for what Jesus did, in other words, if 0-point energy is the prize and alien disclosure is the detonator, the real alien invasion already happened. The real alien invasion, the real disclosure already happened over 2,000 years ago. I mean, inside the pyramids, potentially. In the form of the Messiah, potentially. And the elites have been feeding us Happy Meals ever since. Bread and circuses. Making sure we never remember what really matters. So the next time you see the Golden Arches, ask yourself, is this just lunch or is this the modern Eucharist of distraction? And it's not McDonald's, it's all of the fast food chains. The truth has come time and time and time again. You read the Bible, and how many times was it proven that there was an entity above humanity? And how many times did humanity want more proof? Well, the proof is in the pudding, and we've been gorging ourselves on pudding the last 2,000 years. So maybe we should let up. So let's get into the missing general, Neil McCaslin. I've got some notes here I've got to dive into. No names, no agencies, can't say where this is coming from. And, well, I'll tell you what's going on. There have been remote viewers tasked. Teams of remote viewers tasked to find the general. What I can tell you are some coordinates. Let me pull these up because you will understand once I give you the coordinates of what's going on. Okay, we have the following coordinates, and I'm not talking about coordinates that you would see on remote viewing target. No, I'm talking about actual geolocation coordinates. Okay, this is huge. A number of viewers have been tasked to find this target, this individual Neil McCaslin, without knowing it in all cases. So these specific coordinates are the following. I'm going to put them up on the screen. Okay, so there are the coordinates. I'll just tell you where they go. Those are to the alleged underground military base called Dulce, the same military base where allegedly underground firefights with extraterrestrials have taken place in the past. And this is important because this is the last place people would expect the general to go. There was an underground rumored battle between aliens and people at the Dulce base. This battle made headlines, and it was known as the Dulce War, and it also goes back to 1979, so that same general era as the 1977 Satanic Panic, McDonald's allegations of Satanism. Now, this was largely driven by businessman Paul Benowitz and others who got involved, but this was allegedly a fight between U.S. Special Forces and aliens, for lack of a better word. Just your run-of-the-mill, deadly, underground military base aliens. And it's been called the Dulce War. It was a joint underground facility, according to Benowitz and others. And claims have been made that 60 plus humans died after a dispute over human experimentation. Now, according to Phil Schneider, a firefight occurred in 1979 between U.S. personnel and extraterrestrials, often described as gray aliens, at this secret multi-level underground base. Paul Benowitz pushed the story quite a bit, and Phil Schneider as well. Phil Schneider is a very interesting individual, and we'll get into him a little bit later. But right now, we need to concentrate on the missing UFO general, Neil McCaslin. A number of people, including people in Congress, believe that something fishy might be going on, and that a sector of the government, a shadow government of sorts, does not want UAP disclosure, NHI disclosure, and they are willing to go to any lengths to keep this from happening. Now, echoes from the depths of the Dulce base are now reverberating into our reality. Remote viewers have pinpointed an alleged hidden site near Dulce, and the fate of the UFO general Neil McCaslin could be involved. So, this is a very urgent scenario. Let me reenact what was seen. And the image that was used for this podcast was sent to me, and this was allegedly of this primary viewer who this source is involved with. And this underground complex lit by unnatural blue light, this man in uniform, disoriented but alive, potentially there. And I'm going to reveal what protected remote viewers have seen allegedly about the disappearance of the UFO general and the location where they say he was in fact seen, or may still be, or may be seen in the future. And that's the way remote viewing works. Time and space don't necessarily collide or work the way we're used to them working. Now, as a disclaimer, all the sources in this episode must be shielded to protect them. No agency names will be mentioned, as I promised. And those of you who have sent me this information, you know who you are. I promised you I would not out you, any agency names, or any of the people involved. So, this is how the sessions were worked. Protected remote viewing teams, a small circle of trained viewers who work entirely off-grid, their identities kept secret, independently zeroed in on a precise location near the Dulce underground base in New Mexico, and I put the coordinates there. There has never been any proof that this base exists, other than claims by Paul Benowitz, Phil Schneider, etc., and a host of other conspiracy theorists. So there are no alleged, well, okay, let's back up. There's plenty of alleged base activity out there, but there's never been any proof that a base exists out there. There are, in fact, structures, towers, allegedly some call them guard towers. There are water towers. There are buildings out there, and I put the coordinates up there. I'm not going to put them up again. But this protected remote viewing team, these remote viewers who zeroed in on this location, believe Neil was there, is there, or may be there in the future. Now, the sessions were conducted with double-blind protocol, multiple viewers, cross-verified coordinates. Viewer number 1's description is of dark tunnels, humming machinery, a figure matching Neil, and uniforms. Viewer 2, corroboration, exact same. Viewer 3, may still be held or emerge when conditions shift. And these are, I won't go past viewer 3, but the geographic context of this remote high desert terrain, ancient underground systems, alleged rumored to extend for miles, and some place that is considered a conspiracy theory that aligns really well with the general's past. Now, if there is a description of the target location that comes out, a natural cave entrance perhaps reinforced with modern engineering, or maybe it's something hidden in plain sight among the formations that naturally occur there. Many people believe there is something underground in the Archuleta Mesa near Dulce, New Mexico. Many believe there are temperature fluctuations, electromagnetic interference, faint chemical odors, and the unmistakable presence of military. This all fits McCaslin's profile if he is in fact being held there, ran there, went there, is going to go there, or was at some point there. His documented interest in extraterrestrial craft and his sudden vanishing push for deeper disclosure. If there is a shadow government, and I repeat, this claim has to be protected. The remote viewers need to be protected. And the shadow government, if it is involved, could be the real reason for the silence. Those who do not want disclosure, the same ones that I've been talking about this whole hour. The real reason for silence. There is a pattern of suppression, whether it's Neil McCaslin or his assistant, Monica Reza, or a handful of other scientists that have gone missing or been killed. Just in the last couple of years, multiple scientists have gone missing or have been killed in the United States. It's not just Neil McCaslin. It's not just Monica Risa. In fact, several U.S. defense and aerospace scientists have vanished or died under mysterious circumstances since mid-2025. Notable cases are individuals who have worked on technologies similar to Monica Reza and her technology known as Mondaloy. This is classified aerospace programs that these people work on, advanced rocket alloy technologies, and other individuals. For example, the shooting death of MIT Plasma Science Center director Nuno Lorio and Caltech astrophysicist Carl grill mare. Now, these disappearances occur amidst a broader academic brain drain. In other words, in the US, we have a lot of experts. However, 75% of American researchers have considered leaving the country, according to some channels. Maybe it is because they fear for their lives. There appears to be a shadow government, okay? A hidden network of individuals operating outside of the bounds of the law, operating above elected officials, actively, potentially, allegedly silencing individuals who possess verifiable knowledge about extraterrestrials or other high-tech exotic systems. Their goal is simple: to prevent full disclosure at all costs. And this has been rumored by people like David Grush, who recently, by the way, just sued the United States government again this week, if I'm not mistaken. Not the suit that it had against law enforcement originally, where he lived. This is a totally different suit against the United States government. Recently online, there have been images of Lou Elizondo all scratched up and beat up. The narrative, the story is that he fell on his motorcycle and that his face got all messed up. But some are wondering if there's a different pattern here. Maybe he too is being threatened. In fact, the first time I met Lou Elizondo, he was wearing a bulletproof vest. He was worried for his safety then. I wonder if he's worried about his safety now. If there is a shadow government actively silencing individuals who possess verifiable knowledge about extraterrestrials, they would go about doing it in the same way that we've witnessed: disappearances, strange deaths, physicists, and targeted actions against scientists. Now, this MIT Plasma Science Center director, who died December of 2025, and this Caltech astrophysicist, Carl, who died February 2026, these create a disturbing pattern. These disappearances are frightening. And other whistleblowers, scientists, and pilots have experienced pressure. Let's just call it pressure. David Grush went into this. Matthew Brown has gone into this. A number of whistleblowers have gone into this. And the same controlling force that built, may have allegedly built the Dulce complex, may be the one ensuring the public never learns the full story. If this is the case, if this theory holds any water, it would make sense why this elite team of remote viewers would see the general at this location. Now, there have been possible timelines for McCaslin's reemergence or further leaks. In fact, I was talking with somebody on the phone and late last night, and we thought, wouldn't it be cool if Trump did come out with full disclosure and Neil McCaslin was at his right-hand side there, ready to help out, or Monica Raisa. These may be optimistic dreams at this point, especially with these viewers and what they've seen, if they are true. So if enough people demand transparency, the shadow government's grip will weaken. I believe a lot of people are demanding transparency, and I would say take some action. Share this episode responsibly. Support independent researchers and stay vigilant. Keep an eye out. He could be anywhere. Now, protect the truth. Protect yourselves. Be safe. God bless you. Have a very blessed day. Don't forget to go to heroparanormal.com, smash the green subscribe button. It helps. It helps a lot. Or if you just want to buy a product, go to happinessmedical.com. pick yourself up a tube of Spice Natural Bronze. Love you guys. Take care, Wolfpack. Keep your eyes to the skies, feet on the ground, but don't forget to take a look around.
Hypo-esoteric research organization.
Hero paranormal, always setting up the pace, man. Crop circle tipping, Illuminati still tripping. Making those ears perk up, gonna make you question your earth.
You better.
Mystery bloodlines and secret society. Creepy shapeshifter says, come sit beside me.
Yeah, cozy on up.
So what's with all this spiral?
Acting like UFOs.
Say what? So we put in space wolf, tiptoe through the dark. Third eye blinding, tune in and blast off, blast off.
Blast off, baby.
Blast off.